Congresswoman Jackie Speier of California. She's a member of the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees. Congresswoman, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.
Your colleague, Congressman Ted Lieu, called for an immediate congressional investigation, saying in a statement, and let me read what he said. He said, "I am deeply disturbed by the allegation that the CIA lost its arsenal of hacking tools. The ramifications could be devastating. We need to know if the CIA lost control of its hacking tools, who may have those tools, and how do we now protect the privacy of Americans?" Have you already been briefed on this situation? If so, what can you tell us?
No, I have not yet been briefed on the situation, but I can tell you that whether it was Edward Snowden or some of the other leakers of information, they have historically been contractors, persons who've been hired by contractors who then provide services to the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm concerned that we do not have a handle on making sure those persons are properly vetted in terms of whether or not they are, in fact, going to put our country first.
But after Snowden, you would think they took steps to make sure contractors, regular employees, officials across the board, there would be better security. Isn't that what they promised?
Well, that was their promise, and we have had them into the committee to talk about what efforts they have made to close the leaks. And they have done many things, but clearly not enough. And, you know, there are many institutions in this country that have figured it out, financial institutions being one of them. So I think there's going to have to be some firm conversations with the CIA about what it has to do in order to get its house in order.
As a result of this leak, there's a lot of Americans concerned about their security, their personal privacy. I want your thoughts on what the FBI Director, James Comey, said today about privacy. Listen to this.
Even our communications with our spouses, with our clergy members, with our attorneys are not absolutely private in America. In appropriate circumstances, a judge can compel any one of us to testify in court about those very private communications. There is no such thing as absolute privacy in America. There is no place in America outside of judicial reach.
What's your reaction, Congresswoman?
Well, what he's saying is that if you can get a warrant, if you can show probable cause, you can, in fact, invade someone's privacy. But the privacy that we each have as individuals is not subject to scrutiny without having some probable cause that there's a crime that's been committed. And there's certainly the defense of not being required to testify against your spouse, among other protections that we have in our laws.
Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff, he's the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, said your committee, the Intelligence Committee, will now investigate President Trump's claims that President Obama illegally wiretapped Trump Tower in New York City last year. Listen to Adam Schiff.
The President has asked our committee to investigate this, and I would say, Mr. President, we accept.
He was referring to President Trump. What do you expect to find?
Well, first of all, you know, that gives credibility to what is an outrageous statement by the president. We should be able to make that clear within a day. There is no investigation that should take more than 24 hours to figure out whether or not that took place. And frankly, the president would have to go to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice would have to go to a court seeking a warrant and establishing probable cause. So again, this is so outside the realm of possibility. But to give it credibility by saying we're going to investigate it, frankly, I think is a mistake. But if we're going to investigate it, we should be able to do it in 24 hours and get back to the American people.
Your Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a Democrat, they sent a letter to the Department of Justice today asking any warrant applications or court orders related to wiretapping of Trump campaign officials or Trump Tower or anything involving Donald Trump should be made available to the committee. Do you think the Intelligence Committee should do the same thing on the House side?
Yes. We should have access to all of that information as part of our investigation into whether or not there was collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian oligarchs or Russian persons of interest.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier of California, thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure.